Yeah. You might actually get the ball. You might actually hear the ball. Okay, we're ready for our next presentation. MWright is going to talk to us. Ms. Carlton, did you? What was? Okay. MWright is going to talk to us about social stratification. Please welcome him.
As Mr. Carraway said, I'm MWright. I'm going to talk about social stratification. I bet you guys are all wondering what that exactly is. Social stratification is the separation of people into different socioeconomic groups. That's separation by economic status, race, and separation of political power or social power. I bet you're wondering, why did I pick such a specific or off-the-wall topic? This isn't exactly the most talked about thing. Most summers, I'm pretty busy. I go all over the place doing all sorts of things. A few different times I've been to this one particular little middle-of-the-nowhere town called Richwood, West Virginia. While I'm there, I've helped replace and fix all sorts of houses. It's a bit of a rundown little town. They used to be big coal mining town, but the industry has left and left the people in a bit of an economic wreck. So while we were there, we were replacing a roof and in addition to a house for the Dover Spike family. And it was wonderful spending time with them during the week. We got to meet their grandkids, and they were just the most fantastic people. They didn't have much. What they did have, they were more than welcome to share with us. Here we were rolling up and replacing rubber roof. It might not look like that. That is very heavy and very hot when it's been sitting in the sun all day. So when I was thinking about it, I was there for a week, and while I was there, I was thinking, what am I going to do for my internship? So when I came in during the fall, I started placing calls. I figured best place to try to see about social stratification would be the Department of Social Services. They handle this kind of thing every day. I called the one in Orange, and I didn't get a call back. I called the one in Fredericksburg. I didn't get a call back right away. I called the one in Richmond. I called the one in Madison. I called just about every single one in a 25 to 50 mile radius. I got 2 calls back, one from Fredericksburg and one from Orange. I ended up serving my internship at the Department of Social Services in Fredericksburg, and it was fantastic. Now, I don't have many pictures because I did have to sign some confidentiality things because they are a government building, and they have lots of personal records for people and things like that. What I did there was absolutely fantastic, and I loved it. This is my mentor, Miss Kristen Gallick. She is the most passionate lady I've ever met. She's absolutely fantastic. She talked, while I was there, we talked about so many different things. We had debates on the ethical right to food, the ethical right to eat, whether or not education should be standardized or not, jobs, the impact of the SNAP programs and the TANF programs with food stamps and things like that, and whether or not budget cuts have had huge effects on programs and the effects they had on the people who are using and the programs, how has it been implemented in recent years. So while I was there, I also had access to all of their statistical data and records, and it was fantastic to be able to go back through and comb through years worth of data and statistics, and it was just amazing for the amount of information she was able to hand me and let me go through. I'd like to take you through my research on a global to local scale, and I'd like to start off in the country of Laos. Laos is near Vietnam and Thailand, and the east by China. There they were working on replacing roads, so they decided to start replacing roads near the most populated areas. You would think that'd be a good idea, reaching marketplaces and things like that. Well, the way they went about doing that is they started by the districts that had more money, right? More money, more people. You'd think that's not the right decision. That's not how it worked, and it ended up being a very bad move for their people. They had more people in poorer localities, and they were unable to access the markets. It caused a huge strain, and 30% of people were unable to reach the market. That's their poverty line, 30%. When looking at their home structure, 30% of the people live in homes that are not equal to the other home structure. Now, I'd like to look closer to home and talk about New York. In New York, they did a study on 4th grade academic level performance. In 232 school districts near Rochester and Buffalo, they analyzed the impact of food deserts. A food desert is considered any place that has a scarce locality of access to food or access to nutritious food. The impact of this being that they saw a significant decrease in the academic performance of the students in the localities that were located in the food deserts versus the localities that were not in the food deserts in the 232 counties that they were in. Now, this brings me to Orange County, where we all live, love, and know. While looking through the data that I got from Fredericksburg, I was able to compare it to them being a bigger city to us being a rural, not a city. But I was able to get the information from 2013 and compare it to 2014's information, and I saw that they had listed us at a 11%. That's our considered impoverished. That's the amount of people. We have about 35,000 people in Orange County. That's about 3,062 people. That is not an accurate representation. The standards that they were using were set in 1964, and this is their poverty guideline. These are the numbers they use to determine who is able to access and use the government's programs from the social and financial aid at the Department of Social Services and things like that. While looking through all this information, I was able to go through and find the answer to my research question, which was, what is the impact of social stratification on education, opportunity, and resource distribution across modern America? Looking at this information, I was able to see that the modern standards that we have set, are no longer up to date with the current standards of the current standards that have been set for the people that are currently living in America. With my mentor, Ms. Kristen Gallick, I was able to access the St. George's Episcopal Church in Fredericksburg and work with them at what they call the table. On Tuesday nights, they have an open-style market where people who are hungry or what they consider needy come and they're able to get free food that is through the market exchange from local farms, local businesses. They donate, and then they can come twice, Tuesday morning and Tuesday evening. It was absolutely wonderful, but I did not take any pictures because that was something that they did not want being pictured taken of. It was not the opportunity there was none. My legacy project. Here you see a giant open field. Well, I'm hoping that this field won't be an open field. It's 11,000 square feet. That's a lot of land, actually. I'm hoping for 1,200 square feet along the edges, 3 cubic feet each, to build a garden. This will be taking place within the next month, April and May. We'll be building above ground gardens with a local church in the Lake of the Woods area. We're going to be doing this through and then establishing a community garden setup with a market style setup like with the St. George's Episcopal Church, with the Lake of the Woods Church in the community Locust Grove area on the other side of town. Now, some advice for current gospel students. Pick a topic you're passionate about. As you can see, I'm really nervous right now. This topic is pretty touchy, And I'm honestly not going to go study this at college. I want to study cognitive science. It's also a super, super obscure field that no one knows anything about. But there are people studying it, and it's awesome. And I'm passionate about this, and I love it. Just pick something you love and go for it. Another thing is actually attend school. I don't most everybody a lot. I missed a lot of school. Right now I'm about a month or something like that. It's close. And then last thing is persevere. Took me 6 times to spell that, by the way. Do what you want and just keep going forward. A lot of stuff's gonna come up. I was working on my internship in October, and I was actually supposed to go meet one of the senators, Virginia senators, who's coming to speak about child abuse and child neglect in Fredericksburg Department of Social Services. And as I was on my way there, I actually got into a car accident on that night. But I missed 3 months, and I'm back and I'm doing this. And it was awesome. I'm gonna love it. And I'm gonna finish. And just do what you want to keep going forward. Don't give up. And so, any questions?
The title of your presentation was "Capitalism is a Broken System," and I didn't
go for it.
So my question is, what parts of your internship when you were working with the Department of in social service, I'm just selective services, that's amazing. The Department of Social Services, what part of that did you feel like really revealed to you aspects of our capitalistic market-based economy that we have that really kind of fell apart?
My mentor was actually a hedge fund manager before she worked for the Department of Social Services for quite a few years. For, I want to say, either Goldman and Sachs or like that big in Maryland.
Right.
And then she stopped doing that and came there. And while we were there, I was talking about the ethical debates of the right to things like that. We were talking about how in our country there's the bigger wealth gaps and proven because there's not an equal footing to get started off with that. And then people have a difference in the way that the education system, and there's a cycle that's not broken with the usage of the Department of Social Services system, that they have programs that are put in place that aren't widely known about. So when people do use the system, like use TANF and SNAP, which is stamps and then temporary assistance for needy families, that they aren't using them, it becomes a cycle of they use them and then their children use them, or that single mothers use them and then their children end up using them because they become single mothers or things like that. But they have programs due to budget cuts that are slowly losing funding and things like that that are shrinking, but these programs are meant to break that cycle of need and then usage and then just to keep the repetitive motion. So they want to be able to break that so they can become self-sufficient and keep moving. So that's what that's. Okay.
Thank you, Matt.